Tonight in New Orleans, the equation is simple for Tulane. Win, and you host the American Conference Championship. Lose, and your CFP hopes disappear. John Sumrall, his days may be numbered, but his focus tonight is on Charlotte. The 49ers, just one win on the season, coming in against the best team in the group of 6. They'll try to play spoiler to cap off the 2025 season. And a beautiful day here in New Orleans. The sun is set. It's football under the lights. Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Dr. Pepper. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. North Texas punched their ticket to the American Conference Championship last night with a win over Temple. Tulane wins. They host North Texas next week on Friday. Tulane loses. North Texas welcomes Navy to Denton. So a lot on the line tonight. Alongside the former Notre Dame star Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. How unique of a situation is this for Tulane? The final week of the regular season, every goal you set for yourself is right there for the taking.
Well, it's an interesting moment for them because you're talking about a high-pressure situation to end the season. And what do we know about teams at this stage? There's injuries, there's exhaustion, but you mentioned it. Everything is on the line for Tulane, including an American Conference Championship berth next week and a potential college football berth. So it's a lot on the line for them in a vulnerable moment, but it should make for an exciting matchup today. Well,
4 straight American Conference Championship appearances is also what's on the line for Tulane. A win tonight, and they will be in that situation. John Sumrall has picked up right where Willie Fritz left off as he went off to Houston. They have been perfect at home this year with a 5-0 record. They've gotten it done on the defensive line. They've been really good on the offensive line, and that has paved the way for the emergence of Jamari McClure, the redshirt freshman running back who has come on very strong the last 2 weeks.
And he's coming on at the perfect time for them. What I love about him is his instinctive nature. He's really good with the football in his hands. He has the vision, he has the balance, and he's explosive. He's a home run hitter. He's a threat to take it the distance whenever the football is in his hands. And it's really coming at the best time for them because Jake Resloff has been the bell cow and the workhorse for them as a runner from the quarterback position. So to have McClure emerge now is really coming at a dynamic time for them and going to put a lot of pressure on everything else as it relates to trying to stop them on offense.
Over 200 yards in the last 2 weeks for McClure, a career high in back-to-back weeks. Those numbers combined are more than his career combined entering a couple weeks ago against FAU. So they really needed that. On the other side for Charlotte, not been the year Tim Albin had hoped for in his first season, coming over after a very successful run at Ohio, and a big reason why, Darius, injuries. Connor Harrell, their starting quarterback, was starting to play really well, out for the year in the 4th game of the season. They've had 51 different players make at least one start this year. Not necessarily a recipe for success. They do have a couple guys coming home to play in New Orleans. One of them is their star receiver, Javen Nicholas.
And he's just been outstanding when he's on. He's a dynamic playmaker, and the word there is playmaker. When the football is in his hands and in his direction, if he's able to get his hands on it, he can take it the distance. When I watch him, I love his ability to cut. This game is against North Texas, one of the best teams, as we know, in the American Conference. He looked like a man amongst boys out in that game. So when he gets rolling, and he can get hot. They're going to need him to make a lot of plays here today to keep this game close, especially early in this game.
They played with North Texas for a few quarters. John Sumrall, a lot of rumors about his future. His focus tonight, getting Tulane to the conference championship. Tulane has a combined 32-10 record over the last 3 years. The home crowd hoping to send them to a 4th straight American Conference Championship tonight. They are perfect at home. It would be their first perfect record at home in an entire regular season since 1998. And they would be trying to win the American Conference Championship for the first time since 2022. The kick is out of bounds. And the start for Charlotte sums up a little bit of their entire season, a penalty on the opening play.
Yeah, they really have struggled in all facets of the game. But I look back at that game against North Texas a few weeks ago for Charlotte. They hung in there. It was close at halftime. It was a 1-score game going into the 4th quarter. So don't be surprised if you see Charlotte come out and play spirited early in this game.
Jake Retzloff has thrown for 230 yards or more in 6 of the last 7 games, transferred from BYU, redshirt senior from Corona, California, was recruited by John Sumrall at Troy before BYU came in and scooped him up, so there was familiarity there, and he has been a star for the Green Wave this year. Gets it out quickly. That's a drop by Shaz Preston, and something we saw a little bit of last week from this receiving corps.
And it's really unfortunate because it's just a miscue there. He had a lot of space in front of him because Clickscale Jr., number 12, the corner, gave him such a cushion to start. That's one that Preston's going to have to catch. He's going to have to make those catches in order for them to get this offense going.
Retzloff in a pistol set with McClure as the back. Play action pass. They like to take shots early. This one over the middle, and it's caught by Anthony Brown. Stevens just past the marker. They get 12 yards and move the chains.
And they're coming at Clickscale Jr., number 12, but an incredible route. Watch him snap this off at the end of it. He's going to stop and then turn around and catch this football. Excellent timing pass from the quarterback as well.
First carry for McClure, really impressive last week, Darius. He gets 5 on his first run. What do you like most about this young back?
It's really the vision and how he sets up these blocks. I mean, you look at the left tackle on this play, Derek Graham, number 76. McClure did an incredible job of just being patient, allowing him to make his block before cutting up field. So he's showing some maturity at the running back position, despite the fact he's just a redshirt freshman.
Omari Hayes, one of their top receivers, motions to the near side slot. McClure on the run up the middle, untouched for the first down, spins off a hit and drives the legs past the 30, and he's being dragged inside the 25 to the 22. Jack Holyfield, the center, was dragging him downfield.
And look, it's an incredible run from him, but watch Jack Holyfield here, number 58. The athleticism from the center in the middle just does an incredible job of getting up to the second level and then just acting as a bulldozer after McClure gets out there, pushing him forward. That's an athletic play from the big guy up front.
25 yards for McClure. He's just been a big play machine for Tulane since really taking the reins in this backfield. Stumbles ahead for a gain of 2, tackled by Zion Shockley, one of the defensive linemen.
And Chuck, I can't stress how much of a luxury it is to have a running game for Tulane that is not centered around the quarterback. For them moving forward is such a dynamic recipe for success in terms of putting stress on the defense when they have a running back who can play lights out.
And we know Retzloff can run, but he's only ran it 12 times for 9 yards over the last 2 weeks. This is Hayes trying to get outside, spun backwards, and here comes Hayes near side. Retzloff waving him around like a third base coach, and Retzloff sets the block. He is just short of the end zone. Omari Hayes touched every piece of turf inside the 15-yard line.
Wow, what an unreal individual effort for him to be able to get this into reverse field. But watch Caden Schmaltz here, number 19 in white. He's the guy who has a chance to get him down. He's got to make that play. When you're talking about going against a team with playmakers like Tulane does, and you're Charlotte, when you're put in these situations, you've got to be able to come down with that play. Much respect to Retzloff, though, on that block.
For further review to see if the runner stepped out of bounds.
And this would be likely on the far side of the field at the beginning of this play and could really negate a spectacular effort by Omari Hayes.
Would negate a highlight there. What a play from Omari. We'll see if we can't take a look at this as well to see if he steps out of bounds on the far side. Take another look at this here, Chucky. See if that foot gets out of bounds. Nice heads-up play of recognizing where he was to try to keep that foot in bounds. And for Caden Schmutz, number 19, he just has got to make that play, Chucky. You have to be able to tackle in space and bring guys down. His momentum was taking him out of bounds too. As you look at that shoestring there, and got to be enough evidence to overturn the call. I think this call will just be confirmed on the field. The individual effort there. Another look at the toe tap here. He's not even looking at the ground. That's pretty good to just have body control in a sense for where you are. Step in reverse field, but the athleticism from Omari Hayes there, the 5'9", 170-pound redshirt sophomore. It's
And 3 years at Florida Atlantic, was their #1 receiver a year ago. He's from Sarasota, Florida. So hard to tell.
After review, the call on the field is upheld. It'll be Tulane's ball, first down at the 1-yard line.
So they uphold the call, and it'll be 1st and goal Tulane at the 1. First carry of the year for Omari Hayes is a spectacle, to say the least.
We love the fireworks as expected in this game. Now, we haven't touched on how dynamic this offensive line is for Tulane. These guys up front, from Holyfield to Hurst and Graham at left tackle, to me, they're one of the best in all of the American Conference. So when you get to the 1-yard line, it's usually the moment where an offensive line likes to impose their will on the other side. So would not be surprised here if Tulane elects to keep it on the ground with either Resloff or McClure.
Gordon is operating in a fullback role, the true freshman running back. They give it to Gordon, who plunges his way in. Or so we think. And there's the sign. The opening touchdown for the true freshman, Javen Gordon. His 5th of the year.
And I love the play call here, Chucky. We've seen them do this a little bit where they will put Gordon and McClure in the back at the same time. Typically, they're off split from the quarterback, but this time they elect to put Gordon in at the fullback position and hand him the football. And as we know, up front, this offensive line, one of the best in the conference. They got a ton of push on that play as well. Easy touchdown for the Green Wave.
One of the best kickers in the nation on for the extra point, Patrick Durkin. Low snap. A nice job on the hold and connects to make it 7-0. Great start for Tulane here in New Orleans.
And they marched this football all the way down the field. This offensive line is one of the best in the country. Gordon able to pay this off with his legs. The true freshman doesn't skip leg day. Green Wave.
This Tulane team fired up on the sideline after that opening touchdown. They know what's at stake, and they are off to a great start with a touchdown on their opening drive that took just about 2.5 minutes to take a 7-0 lead over Charlotte. The mustaches are out. You've got yours on?
I've got mine, yeah. I think you're the only one who's missing. You missed the memo there in terms of the stash.
Yep.
It is that Movember time, too. So shout out to that, but to see that, having some fun with the stashes.
Durkin sends it away, and it is a touchback as expected from the big leg of the redshirt freshman kicker. Now, we mentioned the injury to Charlotte's starting quarterback Connor Harrell in week 4. Was really starting to play well too. He's still been a big part of this offense, but it's been Grayson Loftus who comes out. The redshirt sophomore from Gaffney, South Carolina, had a great 2-week stretch against North Texas and East Carolina. Threw for 574 and 5 touchdowns. So he's shown what he can do.
Yeah, he's shown some flashes, but he's also shown some of the young mistakes as well. I think we're going to watch him grow up here tonight in this football game as he continues on his trajectory as QB1 for them.
Sean Brown in motion. The receiving core is one of the units, one of the many units for Charlotte who has been bitten by the injury bug. Cameron Smith bounced around and got about a half yard before he's driven back by a number of Tulane defenders. Jack Chenchu, the safety, one of them.
Good job by Chenchu coming down and making a play, but Santana Hopper, number 29, the defensive tackle, he was the first guy to get there to make a play. And that's the thing about Tulane that is really different from other teams across the American, is how good they are on both sides of the football in terms of the line of scrimmage. One of the best offensive lines in the American and one of the best defensive lines in the American.
26 sacks, tied for second in the league. 2nd and 9 for Loftus, looking near side. It is completed right along the sideline. E.J. Mason steps out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and short.
This wide receiver core for the 49ers really is going to have to step up here today. At the top, we talked about Javen Nicholas, number 5. He'll be at the bottom of the screen, split all the way out. If he gets a one-on-one situation, especially in a third down moment, they like to try to feature him. So look for them to potentially get it to number 5.
3rd and 2, movement up front. A lot of fingers being pointed at Christos Fernandez, the left tackle for Charlotte.
False start, offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Sometimes, Chucky, it's really hard on the road in some of these road games where the crowd gets loud in those big moments. You still got to be able to hold your poise and not hurt yourself. The early part of this game, Chucky, for Charlotte is so important in them being able to keep this thing close. They need a methodical drive to eat up some clock to keep that high-powered offense from Tulane off the field.
Tulane diehards are in attendance. 3rd down, Loftus going to air it out down the sideline. There's contact, and there is no flag. They were targeting Nicholas, trying to get the big play, but it'll bring up 4th and 7.
It's just a good job in coverage by Javion White there, coming from his spear safety position. Nice job using his hands at the point of attack. And as that football gets there, he's looking for it. That's always the coaching point for DBs. When that ball is in the air, keep your eyes back towards the ball, even if there is a little bit of hand action.
Bronson Long on for his 63rd punt of the season. Omari Hayes calls for the fair catch at the 28-yard line. Here's a look at next weekend's ABC College Football Conference Championship lineup. We start Friday night in the American. That's at 8 Eastern. Then Saturday, the Big 12 title game at noon Eastern, followed by the SEC. And finally, the ACC Championship game is at 8 Eastern. Miami punching their ticket there. There's just a lot to be decided. Texas's win last night over A&M maybe shakes things up in the playoff.
Sure does. Makes it a little bit messy. But kudos to Arch Manning. Got a raw deal towards the beginning with a lot of people doubting him. Big win for them.
Retzloff throwing outside and completing that quickly to Trey Shackelford. He's going to end up with just a gain of 4. Dwight Boodle, the 2nd on the stop, transfer from Nebraska.
And this is one of the areas for Charlotte defensively where I think they're just going to have to start to press these wide receivers on the outside. They're just too dynamic and too good with the football in their hands with yak yardage, so you can't give that cushion on the outside. Tulane's going to take it every time.
Retzloff has started 3 for 4 for 36 yards. Not much doing on the 2nd down handoff. Jaquarius Conley coming up to make the stop. They really like him at the defensive back spot. One of their top tacklers, a great hustle guy as well. Made a tremendous play in week 1 to save a touchdown at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, you got to give Coach Alvin a lot of credit on that defensive call there. Bring in the safety Conley on that strong side pressure. We'll see if they continue to dial that up as the series progresses.
Sets up 3rd and medium. Throw off the back foot by Retzloff. It's caught outside by Garrett Mamahat. Mamahat, a guy, Darius, who's only played now in 3 games. He was injured, but he returned last week, had 1 grab, and there's another one.
Yeah, what an impressive play here from him, because he's a high school quarterback, so he changed positions, but showing you the ability to be able to catch by extending those hands. Big time play.
Trip set, they'll hand off to Gordon. Makes 1 miss. Runs through another arm tackle and is finally dropped at the 48-yard line, a yard shy of the 1st down.
For this defense of Charlotte, run fits are incredible. So number 35, watch him, Taylor. He's the guy who has a poor run fit. He goes inside when he should have just tried to hold the point and hold the poise. These running backs, these athletes for Tulane are just too good in space. You have to be conscious of your run fits if you're the 49ers.
Tulane shifts their tight ends, Miller and Reed, to the other side of the field. Zycarl Lewis in motion, 2nd and 1. Play action pass. They want to take a shot. They'll dump it off and hitting Lewis near the sideline for a big gain to the 31. Reed Williford knocks him out. A nice grab by Carl Lewis, another redshirt freshman seeing time.
This is one of those instances where Charlotte played themselves out of this play, so Shea Taylor is going to blitz number 35, which means Reed Williford has got to take the guy out of the inside. He doesn't see him. Eyes in the backfield, makes it an easy pitch and catch for Tulane.
1st and 10 at the 31. Gordon going left side. Good blocking. Gordon through the hole. Gordon to the 20. Still on his feet. Backpedaling down to the 10-yard line and holding on tightly to the ball. Caleb Curtin finally drags him down.
On defense, tackling in space. Watch Colin Glier here, number 3. He's the guy who has a chance to get him down. And when you get your hands, 2 hands on a guy, it's just a technique thing of wanting to come to play. So for Charlotte, they have bodies in the right spot. Guys just have to be able to make the play and get a guy down.
Gordon and McClure both with runs of at least 20 yards now. Little motion, they flip it to Brown Stevens. And he is hit hard out of bounds by Williford, their top returning tackler and their leader again this season.
Brown Stevens, they're showing you that they're continuing to feature him. Nice little wrinkle here of bringing him in motion and then bringing him back on a flat route. Little bubble to the outside. Big time hit from Reed Williford there, coming in and landing the wood towards the end. And that's going to be the recipe of success for Charlotte. They're going to have to be able to make those plays in space against really good football players. I understand it's asking a lot, but they're going to have to be able to do that some if they can keep this game close.
McClure the back. Handoff to McClure, and he just made one miss with ease. He's upended at the 1-yard line. He is so shifty.
And watch Jamil here, number 20, the defensive end. Again, another guy who's in position to be able to make a play, unable to do so. So right now for Charlotte defensively, listen, they're on their heels, but they're on their heels because of technique and tackling. It's not a scheme thing. It's guys being able to make a play on another guy in space.
Team that has had a tough season. Retzlaff, QB sneak, is in for the touchdown. Jake Retzlaff with his 13th rushing touchdown of the season, and Tulane is up 2 scores very quickly.
And look, Chucky, as we watch this, it seems really easy. It's methodical, it's strategic, but they're just calling their normal plays, not doing anything creative or anything secretive play design-wise, just calling their normal plays. They're making more plays than the 49ers at this moment.
Most rushing touchdowns by a Tulane quarterback in a single season for Jake Retzlaff in his 1 year in New Orleans. Exactly as they scripted it, Darius.
No doubt getting behind Jack Holyfield, number 58. The big fella up front. That's the big fella behind him, and Retzlaff scored another touchdown. And Tulane, the Green Wave, they're in motion.
ESPN College Football is presented by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Well, you're preparing for the game, so you celebrate Thanksgiving with your team. Charlotte and Tulane both having their own team Thanksgivings. Do you remember doing that at Notre Dame?
I sure do. I also remember eating way too much and just blowing the diet out of the water on one day. So I tell you,
a little slower out of the gates that game day.
Something about that turkey with the cranberry sauce and the collard greens that just screams, you know what, forget the diet.
I say that every day. What diet? Durkin on to send it away. A 14-0 start for Tulane in less than 10 minutes. And into the end zone for a touchback. Let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Capital One. Back-to-back weeks for Tulane, slotting into number 24 at the top, unchanged. Ohio State at number 1. Then it's Indiana, Texas A&M, though. That's going to change after the loss to Texas. And this is going to be one of the crazier decisions, I think, for the committee.
I mean, no doubt about it. Again, I really question, what do you do with Texas? They're a 3-loss team that just beat one of the best teams in the country. Where do they slot out as far as the rankings go? Just got real messy.
I think Texas's feeling is, look, we played Ohio State. We gave you a great matchup. Now put us in. Hard running from Cameron Smith. Chris Rogers got there first. That's a linebacking unit for Tulane, who is without Dixon Agu. He was injured after 5 games, and so it's been Rogers, Sam Howard, and Mekhi Williams. They've done a really nice job, though.
I mean, they've gotten thrown into the fire here. I mean, Sam Howard went down some, so Williams had to come in and play as well. But this linebacking core has not missed a beat since the starters went out earlier in the season. And here's the thought for me, though, Chucky, with Charlotte. If there was ever a time to pull out trick plays and to try to change the momentum of this game, it has to be in this series right now.
Loftus fakes the pitch, dumps it off short for Cameron Smith. Smith ducks the head, but he's wrapped up by Chris Rogers. Chenchu was there as well. Brings up 3rd and short.
And that's been the difference for the defense is when you look at Tulane versus Charlotte. Tulane is making those plays in space defensively. Incredible job by Chris Rogers of coming up, getting the running back down. We just saw Charlotte miss on those in the last couple of series. So the difference so far has really just been technique. The fundamentals of tackling is really the difference so far in this game.
3rd and 3 for Loftus. Tulane showing pressure. It's a little tunnel screen set up for Nicholas. They've got the first down and the first touch for the New Orleans native.
And I love the call here, Chucky, of trying to get Nicholas going. Watch Gibson here, 74. He's the one who gets out in space. Good job by the big guy showing some athleticism, getting to that 3rd level. Trying to get some guys down. You love to see the big fellas blocking up front. But Javen Nicholas continuing to show that he is a playmaker with the football in his hands.
3 years at LSU, went there as a walk-on, and he came to Charlotte because the offensive coordinator, Todd Fitch, knew Nicholas from because he was a senior analyst last year at LSU. So was able to bring him over, felt like he could be a playmaker, and that's exactly what he's been for them. We'll step away. 1st and 10 for Charlotte. Need to put together an offensive drive. Charlotte trying to add to the American upsets this year. Back in October, we saw UAB with the big one over Memphis. That was when the Tigers were rolling. And then last week, Tulsa over Army in a nail-biter, 26-25. Same time, UTSA, that was not a nail-biter. They dominated East Carolina. Charlotte would love to really shock this conference this week and pick up their 2nd win of the season.
Well, look, it's just a 2-score game, still a lot of football left.
Nowhere to go. They put Gainey. It looked like it was Nicholas in the backfield. It's Rod Gainey Jr. who goes nowhere.
Incredible job on one-on-one with Jordan Norman there. The defensive end, number 9, using those hands to get that offensive lineman off him to be able to make a play. And we touched on this a little bit before the break, Chucky, but just the idea of a trick play. We saw the tunnel screen. We saw them getting a little creative offensively. I think you're going to have to go back to that if you're Charlotte to try to get some momentum here on offense.
Nicholas in motion. Loftus looking that way. He goes inside instead, and diving ahead is Sean Brown. Sam Howard on the stop, sets up 3rd and 3.
I love the idea of using Javen Nicholas as a decoy in those instances. When he comes in motion, he commands a lot of attention when he's moving around. Nice job by Sean Brown of just settling down there into a spot. Now, the interesting thing for Tulane right now is Nicholas just went off the field, so no Nicholas. I think this is a moment for Tulane where they can dial up some pressure, try to see if they can't force the read for Grayson Loftus.
Nicholas converted on their last 3rd down, which also was a 3rd and 3 situation. They are at 36% on the season as a conversion rate. Deep shot down the sideline is caught by the big man, Sean Brown. 6'4", 200 pounds, makes a nice grab.
And we've seen Sean Brown do this quite a bit this season in these 50-50 balls, using that frame. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. Get that ball up in the air. Incredible job by Grayson Loftus of just airing this football out and allowing his wide receiver to run underneath it.
This is a pretty good-looking receiving core early in the season. Jane McGowan and Justin Olson, though, both out for the year. 1st and 10 at the 25. Oh, bad snap. Loftus falls on it back at the 40. It's going to be a loss of 15. And Darius, that's one of the biggest injuries on this team. Johnny King was injured in the North Carolina game in week 2, has missed the remainder of the season, and they have really missed him. Yeah, they sure have, and this is really just an errant snap. Nothing Loftus could really do there. That ball came hot and up to the right, so unable to get it. And for Tim Albin, I understand the frustration here because you had something going there with the drive, building a little something on offense just to hurt yourself. 2nd and 25, they go short, and immediately Smith is hit by Jaheim Johnson, the redshirt sophomore corner from Hammond, Louisiana. This is one of the things I love about Jaheim Johnson, is his instinctive nature of being able to come up to make plays. He was a high school wide receiver that they converted, so love to see guys getting a chance to have some opportunities to play. But right now, a big 3rd down. We saw Charlotte go to Sean Brown as the key in that last series. They've got Nicholas back in. He'll be in the 3rd position there of the trips. Loftus, clean pocket, just over the hands of Jake Young, the intended target, to bring up 4th down. And the offense has been a slow starting offense all year. They've struggled mightily. They've only scored 23 first-quarter points this year. And this is unfortunate because Jake Young was open. He's wide open here. It's just an errant throw from Grayson Loftus. Unable to get his feet underneath him. He felt a little bit of pressure, but this all goes back to that errant snap that just completely let the air out of this balloon for Charlotte. Long on to punt it away. A high punt to force the fair catch at the 11-yard line for Omari Hayes. Well, when I think about this now, Chucky, if you're Tulane and John Summerall, you want to keep your foot on the gas. Like the whole goal in a lot of these games, when you're not the underdog, so when you're the big team that's vying for a spot, if you can put it away early, I'm talking 3 to 4 score game out of the 1st quarter into the 2nd quarter. It allows you to rest your guys on the other side. We know what they have ahead of them as far as the conference championship goes and a potential playoff berth. You got to keep your foot on the gas right now if you're Tulane. The injury lists are long for everybody this time of year. Everyone's questionable, it seems like. Retzloff on play action, looking toward the sideline. Brown-Stevens makes the catch and stiff arms his way out of bounds. The high five from his coach, John Summerall, to move the chains. My goodness, Chucky, this route is incredible from Anthony Brown-Stevens. Working against Derek Edwards on the outside, just does an incredible job of running full speed and then stopping on a dime at 10 yards to catch that football. 4 different rushers, 5 different receivers in the first couple drives for Tulane. Here's Brown-Stevens again, cuts back, gets a block from Pascuzzi, and now jumps ahead to the 45. He has got so much wiggle to him, Chucky. It's just impressive when he has the football in his hands. As we get a close to the 1st quarter. But right now, Tulane offensively able to do whatever they want. A 2-score lead for the 24th ranked team in the country. The quarterback sneak, the big play from Hayes. You said it, Darius, they're rolling and they're trying to put distance between them and Charlotte. Welcome back. 2-score game here. Tulane still up. Chucky, this was the last play we saw. Watch Anthony Brown-Stevens here. Just a simple slant route, but look who he's going against. That's Caden Smoltz, the linebacker. It's just a matchup nightmare. You're asking a linebacker to be able to cover one of the best wide receivers on this team. And that's been the recipe of success right now for Tulane offensively, winning those one-on-one matchups. They have it 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. trickery. That's Brendan Sullivan, the backup quarterback, on the move, looking downfield. He's going to take off and run it. And he'll get 8 yards. He was looking for Jimmy Callaway running deep. It was pretty good coverage by C.J. Clinkscales, though, that deterred the throw from Sullivan.
Yeah, Clinkscales saved them on this one at number 12 from his corner position, because Sullivan is looking downfield, wanting to throw that football, but because Clinkscale was lock in step with Callaway there, nowhere for him to go with the football. Nice job, though, by Sullivan of just not making it a errant throw and not forcing something there, just taking what the defense gives them to put themselves in second and short.
Gotta love it if you're Sullivan. He was winning the job halfway through camp, but they kept him involved throughout the season. You'll see him out there on a few plays a night. Pressure coming at Retzloff, hit hard and driven into the ground. Retzloff is not happy about the hit. He popped up quick, but he got hit low and high.
But I love seeing Charlotte, though, dialing up the blitz. Watch 35, Taylor. Sean Taylor's going to come from his Mike position, untouched there. The running back whiffs on the block. Both he and Liverpool, the defensive end, got to Retzloff.
3rd and 2. Tulane 2 for 2 on 3rd down tonight. Justin Reed, the big tight end, in motion. Handoff is somehow going to move the chains just barely. It didn't look like Arnold Barnes had anywhere to go, but fought his way for a 1st down.
This continues to be the problem for Charlotte. Watch Simpson here. He's a defensive end. He's got a chance to get him down. He's got 2 hands on the running back. Still unable to get him. And look, it's not a scheme thing here, Chucky, and that's got to be the most frustrating thing for Tim Albin and his team. It's not a scheme problem. They're just losing one-on-one situations.
Brought his defensive coordinator, Nate Faunus, with him from Ohio. Handoff again. Oh, my goodness. Shea Taylor makes the stop. Faunus actually said Taylor's his favorite kid he's ever coached. Brought him over with him from Ohio, where he spent 4 years. Makes a nice tackle.
Yeah, they didn't have him last week, so they're excited to have Shea Taylor back. And he's a guy who's really stuck around. Now, he had some Power 4 offers to leave this program, but decided to stick around and continue to compete in his 5th year. You love to see guys show some loyalty, which is not something you say or see quite often in college football these days, unfortunately.
Play action. Retzloff pressure. Makes Taylor miss. Now directing traffic down the sideline. It's a perfect throw, and it's caught. Tripped up near the 15-yard line is Johnny Pascuzzi, the Olathe, Kansas native who transferred over from Iowa.
Well, what an incredible job by Jake Retzloff of just directing traffic, because Johnny Pascuzzi is open if he just starts to move, and he wasn't moving, so Jake did the next best thing and said, well, let me point to where I need you to go because you're running down the field wide open. Nice job of just directing traffic on the move there and then making an incredible throw to pick up another chunk play.
Pascuzzi has had 4 of his 8 catches on the season come over the last 2 weeks. This is him in motion. They hand off to Turner, who drives his way down close to the 5-yard line. That's Mo Turner, Darius, a Louisville transfer. Hadn't played since October 30th. I don't know that they expected him to. We saw him return, though, last week, and here he is again this week.
He's an experienced running back as well, so it's nice to have him out there, especially in passing situations with pass pro and understanding what to do in situational football. But right now, Chucky, this offensive line is just looking as good as ever up front. Holyfield's getting a ton of push from the center position. I think Charlotte's going to have to blitz if they're going to have any chance of stopping this at the line of scrimmage.
Turner still the back, gets the carry going left side. And he's dragged down by Cary Grant. That's the other New Orleans native for Charlotte, making a nice tackle.
Yeah, he's a JUCO transfer from a couple of years ago. Another one of those guys from New Orleans, got 40 family members here. Looking to play well in front of his family for sure.
Did you ever get to play back in Georgia?
I sure did, yeah, and I had about 40 people at the game too as well. We played Georgia Tech, so I got a chance to go home to Atlanta to be around friends and family. It's always a great thing when you can pull those off, because you just get so many people who don't get a chance to actually go to the games to see you. It's a beautiful thing.
I bet you scored a touchdown.
I had a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, I bet you did. Barnes is the back. Retzloff going to throw it over the middle. It's picked off! Caden Schmitz jumped the route, and now Schmitz is tackled by Retzloff. Another one that came over with Nate Faunus and Tim Albin from Ohio has his second pick of the year.
Well, it feels like Charlotte really desperately needed a turnover, some kind of play to spark some life. What a job from Caden Schmitz here. He's number 19, right in the middle. Bates, the QB, just waits around, picks it, able to take it. We have our first turnover of the game. Can they make something of it? We'll see when we get back. So, Chucky, here's the pick we saw before the break. Schultz is here, but look who's also there. The referee. It's the stripes that get Retzloff. He thinks no one's there. The ref ducks down, and there goes Schultz. Big-time play. Hate to blame the ref for that one. It's not really his fault, but sort of looks like it.
Caden Schmitz fired up an Ohio native and one of those two linebackers that came with them from Ohio. And now on the run is Loftus, who just takes it out of bounds. Pretty close to the original line of scrimmage. What's it got to be? Charlotte offensively saw a great drive get ended basically because of a bad snap. What's it got to be on this drive?
Yeah, they hurt themselves, and what they were doing where they were getting their guys in space. They did a nice job of that in terms of getting their guys in space. So Sean Brown, number 8, he's the guy I want to see them start to get more opportunities to in this game, especially on those 50-50 balls.
Tulane winning the yards department 224 to 47 right now. Charlotte minus 11 on the ground. It's been an issue all year, Darius. They get a couple here on second down, but they've averaged under 90 rushing yards per game on the season. That's one of the lowest marks in the league.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of consistency there for them. Now, they've juggled around offensive line, a lot of guys in different spots here today. They haven't really had the same core group. But I like what Mo Clipper Jr. has been doing, number 55, the left guard. They need to try to use his ability a little bit more and run behind him on the left side.
E.J. Mason in motion. 3rd and 7, Loftus rolling. The window was closing, and he throws it out of bounds to force another punt.
That's really unfortunate for Charlotte here. Well, one, they didn't find anything there, but just we didn't see them try to do something different. And that's what I want to see a little bit more of for them on offense, is to try to do something different. They have to understand that matchup on matchup, it has not worked. They're just too talented in Tulane. So when you have that talent discrepancy, what you do is your run trick plays. You get deeper into that playbook to give yourselves to do it. So right now, for me, they're just way too conservative on offense for the 49ers.
We've seen a little bit of trickery from Tulane in this one. You've been asking for it from the 49ers. 4th and 7 forces another Bronson long punt, who has had a busy season. Amari Hayes, a couple of fair catches to this point. Would love a chance to return one. Tells everybody to get away from this as it takes a Tulane hop back toward midfield, where they will get the ball and try to get back on track after the red zone turnover in beautiful New Orleans. Perfect weekend to finish the college football season. Now let's take a look at our Fansville College Football Update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Big results: Ohio State over Michigan, snapping the streak. Miami cruising past Pitt, but the big one was last night, Darius. Texas A&M falling to number 16 Texas to really shake things up. We've got 3 more happening as well right now.
You gotta love those. Shake up in college football. It's always the fun times right now. I'll tell you who doesn't want to shake up. Tulane.
They do not.
No interest in that.
The Irish going to make the playoff?
It's looking like it. It's looking like it.
You know people, I know that. You're pulling strings somewhere.
Make some calls. Play politics for a bit.
Retzloff quickly out wide to Carl Lewis. Just past the original line of scrimmage for a gain of about 1. Jaquarius Conley on the stop.
When we look at the numbers for McClure here, 5 carries, 35 yards. He's averaging 7 yards a pop. They got to hand the football off to 25 a little bit more, because that's the area for Tulane. If there's an area on offense where they need to grow, it's running the football. They have to mature in this area if they're going to compete for a conference championship next week and a potential playoff berth. They got to run the ball.
Something they've done so well the last 2 years with Mekhi Hughes, who transferred to Oregon. He was back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher. The ball's on the ground, punched away and picked up by Charlotte. Another turnover. It's Todd Baldwin the other direction, and Retzloff has his second tackle of the night inside the 15.
Wow. Now, the guy who made the hit was Gavin Willis from his backer position, but I think Jaylon Johnson, the defensive end, number 24, might have gotten his arm in there as well. We'll certainly take another look at this on our side.
That's Johnny Pascuzzi on the ground, the tight end, and the big catch earlier in the game. They use all 3 of those tight ends, Pascuzzi, Miller, and Justin Reed. Charlotte forces their second turnover now.
But you see, Willis is the first one to get to it. And then Johnson makes the hit there. Is he stripping at that football? That ball's way out. And then it's just a scramble to the ball there.
What a play by Jaquarius Conley to punch that away from the Tulane player.
Incredible job. And an athletic move from Baldwin there, picking that football up, taking it down.
Good to see Pascuzzi walking off under his own power. We'll keep an eye on him down on the sideline. At the moment, he's not going into the tent, but John Sumrall frustrated likely with these back-to-back turnovers.
Really uncharacteristic for them. We've talked about how much is on the line for Tulane. You have to wonder if the pressure's starting to get to them a bit, but what an incredible opportunity for Charlotte for the 49ers. The guy I'm always looking at in here is Sean Brown. He'll be at the top of the screen. Looks like he may have one-on-one.
Keeper for Loftus. Oh, he is hit hard and driven backwards. Jack Chenchu, the Atlanta native, on the stop.
And they tried to get a little bit of a play action there, misdirection with a fake sweep to give Loftus some space to get up the field, but Chenchu was not fooled at all by the action in the backfield. Comes up and lays the wood on Loftus. Certainly not a shot you want to take from the quarterback position if you're Charlotte.
And trying to get the run game going with the quarterback that time. Nicholas in motion, trying to go toward him. This is in the backfield, and another big hit. This time from Chris Rogers.
That was Joey Burns, the third there. And I've touched on this a little bit here, Chucky, in a game. Just like some of the play calling is just giving themselves an opportunity to be successful. I just don't. This play is to the short side of the field, to the number 3 tight end in this offense. And so I just look at it and say, are there other plays that you can call to give yourself a little bit of a better chance to have some success? We've talked a lot about Nichols, number 5. He'll be at the slot towards the top of the screen. Give the guys who have made plays for you a chance to make another play in a critical moment.
See what Todd Fitch dials up. Loftus steps up. Third down, needs to convert. Gets it outside to McGee, who is stopped short of the line. Isaiah Shine makes a nice tackle on one of those tight ends.
You have to give this defense of Tulane a ton of credit of being able to just have fundamentals as it relates to tackling. We have seen a ton of blue jerseys be in those one-on-one situations against a skilled player for Charlotte and get the guy down. We haven't seen that on the other side from the 49ers.
Nothing doing from a touchdown standpoint after forcing 2 turnovers. Chip shot field goal is up, and it is no good. So they only get 5 yards after forcing the turnover. They elect to try for the field goal, and it is missed by Boyd.
Well, the frustration just continues for the 49ers. This is their second turnover that they got the ball back and unable to capitalize.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Dr. Pepper. 14-0 Tulane over Charlotte here in New Orleans. That is the world-famous Cafe Du Monde, I am told, Darius. I need to familiarize myself.
Kind of up it. We'll get you there. Just hang in there with us for a little bit, Mr. Kemp.
It looks like my type of spot. Oh, Retzlaff fumbled the football. And this has been really sloppy after a near-perfect start in the first 9 minutes or so for Tulane.
Not really sure what happened at the mesh point there. It looked like Gordon wasn't expecting to get the football, but Retzlaff was expecting to give him the ball. That was almost another costly turnover for Tulane. And look, when you're playing like this and you're a really good football team, as Tulane is, sometimes you can just take a timeout to bring the guys together to have a conversation. So for me, if I'm John Sumrall, at some point I've got to pull this back in. Sometimes a timeout can do that.
2nd and 19. Retzlaff gets it out. It's incomplete. He was looking short for Gordon. Maybe felt the pressure coming on the backside, though, from Jalen Johnson.
Well, if they didn't dial up that pressure for Charlotte for the 49ers this pass play, they're certainly going to do it here. Try to put some pressure on Retzlaff. We just have seen this offense grow really out of sync since the start of the second quarter.
21 minutes it has been 14-0. Two very quick scores from Tulane and then a couple turnovers from them. The Charlotte offense has been stagnant as well. 3rd and long, Retzlaff throwing, Brown Stevens catches. White jerseys all around him to make the stop, well short of the first down. And that's going to force Tulane to punt the football away for the first time tonight.
Well, what a change of circumstances here for Tulane, because their first 2 series they scored touchdowns. Then they had the interception, the fumble, and now a punt. So the past 3 series for them have not worked out well. Just completely out of sorts on the offensive side of the ball.
That is Derek Ely, deep to return. Redshirt freshman from Huntersville, North Carolina, Darius. 27.8 is his average on kick returns. He's been an excellent punt returner as well. Ely backs up to the 15. Flags are thrown as he cuts upfield and he's driven backwards on a short return. We'll see what the flag is back at the 32. There's also an injured Tulane player down on the field. Sean Nicholas, a sophomore defensive back from Harvey, Louisiana. Ely also slow to get up for Charlotte. It doesn't look good for Derek Ely. It's been an electric kick returner for Charlotte.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the return team. Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Return team number 11, that penalty is declined. During the kick, holding. Return team number 11, penalty is half the distance from the end of the kick. First down, Tulane.
White Boodle, the second.
Correction, Charlotte.
Is the guy for the 49ers who was called on that play.
What backs this offense that has really struggled after that one drive where they were really moving the football, got into Tulane territory, the bad snap, and haven't done anything since.
Well, if you remember back on that drive too, they had like the tunnel screen and they were moving guys around, just trying to get a little creative on offense by putting the stars in space. They just have gotten away from that really since the first quarter.
They are negative in the rush yards category still, Darius, with -8. I know that makes you cringe a little bit as a former running back.
It's painful.
Can Loftus get it going? They hand it Gainey, this time right on cue. Gainey has their biggest gain on the ground for 10 yards.
This is a great run from Gainey here. But Christos Fernandez, the left tackle, number 75, he's the guy who makes the key block there on the outside. Nice job of getting up the field by Gainey to pick up the first down.
First and 10 at the 18. 4 minutes to play in the first half. Gainey steps away from one of the big bodies, Cam Hamilton, up front, and ends up getting a couple yards.
Incredible job by Jordan Norman there, the defensive end, getting into the backfield. But for Charlotte, I think the recipe of success for them is to just give their talented football players a chance to win. They've got Sean Brown towards the bottom of the screen. He'll be flanked out. He's got one-on-one coverage out there. Give the big guy a shot.
Nicholas inside of him. Loftus throwing off his back foot downfield. It's picked off. There was a lot of contact. No flag came out. Intercepted by Kevin Adams III. And he sets up Tulane inside the 35-yard line. They get one back.
And Loftus is trying to go to E.J. Mason here, running the seam route from the slot position. But Kevin Adams does an incredible job of just playing center fielder in the back. You see 7 here. Gonna come over, just play that center field. Nice job tracking the football. An overthrow from Grayson Loftus results in an interception from Kevin Adams. Nice job playing that ball, but that's an overthrow from the quarterback. Green Wave get their first turnover.
Adams' second interception of the season. They're 11th as a team. That's a top 4 number in the American Conference. First and 10 for Jake Retzloff and company. Trying to make it a 3-score game before halftime. Out to Shaz Preston, who's dragged down from behind. Saw Preston in some big games this year, was really good against Memphis, had a couple touchdowns. We saw him with a 69-yard touchdown grab to start the game last week at Temple.
And this is his second year in the program, so I think we're starting to see him grow and understand what he needs to do.
Quickly out to Gordon, the running back, running behind Preston.
And Javen Gordon really has been the steady workhorse for them for most of the season up into the past couple of weeks. Now, while he's not a home run hitter type running back, he is a steady guy that can win in short yardage. He's incredibly dependable. So in a third down and short situation, when you have number 23 in the backfield, give the big guy the football.
Retzloff under center, Gordon behind him. Hayes in motion. Retzloff kind of pulls it out on a fake sneak and is tackled at the 21-yard line. He's got a first down.
Real Navy-like on that play there. Incredible job by Retzloff. And this is one of the ways he really can stress a defense is with his legs. We haven't seen him run as effectively the past couple of weeks. Now, we know he has battled with some injuries. He was supposed to be questionable today coming into this game. But when he's on as a physical runner, it just adds a new layer of complexity to this offense.
That's the 2-minute timeout, and it's a big 2 minutes ahead as Tulane tries to make this a 3-score game before halftime.
Welcome back in. Still got a 2-score game here with Tulane up. Charlotte was looking for life, looking for a spark, and they got one. First was the interception from Schmaltz. Johnson makes a great play here to force that football loose. They pick it up. Just were unable to capitalize on both of those. And right before the break, we saw Kevin Adams make this interception to put Tulane in position. Now, will they be able to capitalize on their first turnover?
First and 10 at the 21-yard line, fresh out of the 2-minute timeout. Retzloff keeps it throwing downfield, and hitting inside the 5 goes Shaz Preston.
Incredible job from Retzloff for threading the needle here. Kerry Grant, the safety, number 9, is late coming across. But a good job by Retzloff of keeping his eyes down the field and throwing that football to set Preston up to make a big play.
Retzloff missed his first throw. Since then, he's 13 of 16, $167, and the interception.
They brought Gordon back in the game, number 23. He's the short yardage guy.
And it's I formation. And Gordon dives ahead. He's going to be about a half-yard shy of the end zone. The lights are going off as if that was a touchdown prematurely.
Well, Shea Taylor, number 35, the Mike backer, he's the one who comes up to try to make a play. They run into each other. Grant and Taylor ran into each other on that play.
Somebody hit the lights button too early.
Just, you know, a little too quick. We're excited around here. A lot to be excited about.
Tulane wins, and they will host North Texas on really what will be a short week for them, because it'll be Friday. North Texas gets the extra day of rest heading into the championship, if it is in fact against Tulane.
And I think it will be an interesting matchup. Again, we're foreshadowing here. We don't know how this game's going to be, but when you look at North Texas and you look at Tulane, Tulane is the team that's kind of in the middle offensively of the conference. They're kind of in the middle defensively. It's not an overly flashy team. While for North Texas, you got a high-tempo offense, one of the best quarterbacks, not only in the American, but really in college football at this stage, a true master maker. So two different teams in terms of the dynamics. Should make for an interesting matchup if we get it.
And who handles potential announcements about futures of head coaches? Eric Morris and John Sumrall both being linked away from those programs. Now we review.
This is where I go back to a lot of the decision making that's really sort of happening as it relates to it, because Charlotte took the timeout. I'm not sure why they took the timeout. That ball was about to be set and the play was about to be run before this review. So I'm not exactly sure what Charlotte was trying to gain by taking the timeout, given that it was a questionable call in the first place. But it just didn't help themselves with the timing of the timeout. But as we take another look at this, we've got to find where this football is in relation to where Gordon's knee is. And he's not on the ground yet. That shoulder, that elbow seem to be touching the ground now. The question is where is the football? Is it over the line as far as the end zone is concerned?
There's the elbow down. Hard to say from this angle.
Excellent job by our camera crew here, though. That elbow down. I mean, they have this basically at the 1-inch line.
The call on the field is upheld. It's second down Tulane at the 6-inch yard line.
Not a big surprise there. Nothing earth-shattering on that replay to change the call.
Big turnover. The pick from Kevin Adams to set this up, because Charlotte gets the ball to start the second half. So potentially either that could have been a two-possession game, or maybe you go down and score. Remember, Charlotte did have the missed field goal as well. Now second and goal. Retzloff under center, inches away from the end zone. Reed behind him, tush push. Retzloff again. For the 14th time this season, it's a rushing touchdown for Jake Retzloff. Durkin on to make it 21-0. And he does. A 3-touchdown lead for Tulane. For 20 years, All-State has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you to All-State.
Well, no real surprises on that last series for Tulane offensively, with Retzloff being able to cap that off. They've been winning the line of scrimmage on both sides, and they just continued that dominance into that series. But they did a good job of capitalizing on a turnover, something we were looking for Charlotte to do with their 2 turnovers. They just weren't able to get any points off of.
Felt a little like, too, even if Charlotte doesn't go down and score, if you go to the break in a 2-score game, you got 30 minutes left in your college football season. What happens in those 30 minutes? Complexion has certainly changed after that touchdown. But 1 minute 9 seconds left in the first half. We'll see if the 49ers can mount an offensive drive here. It's fair caught on the return. Next Sunday, we've got the official exclusive reveal of the final college football playoff top 25 rankings in a 4-hour special. Reese and the guys break them down top to bottom and unveil the matchups for the 12-team playoff. It starts at noon Eastern after Sunday NFL Countdown on ESPN and the app. I'm just here for the carnage afterwards. Who's angry, who's not, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Who's disappointed? Where does the coaching carousel swing in that moment too? Lots going to happen over the next 7 days.
Loftus throwing short. Pickup of a few on first down. It really doesn't matter too. You could go to 64 teams. The 65th is still going to be mad.
Somebody's going to be upset. Somebody's going to be upset for sure. And especially with like the scheduling thing, that's the other piece of this that you hear a lot of coaches talk about publicly on whose schedule is stronger, whose schedule is weaker, all that factoring into play.
Something Texas will lean on too with that opening week loss at Ohio State. Loftus dumps it off to Gainey again, who steps out of bounds. I don't think he quite made the first down marker. Maybe third and short.
Looks like we got an injured 49er down there. Looks like Rod Green, the right guard. Grabbing at that leg, you hate to see that.
Well, they have 5 guys on the O-line out for the year on their injury list. Plenty of others who have dealt with injuries throughout the year or are currently dealing with them.
Hopefully he's able to get up and to move around a little bit. And that's the thing, like when you talk to coaches at this stage, they will always talk about injuries and the health of their team. When you're a first-year head coach under a first-year program, when you have as many injuries to key players for Charlotte, it's just really hard to have depth in those moments when it's your first year in the program. As we take another look at Rod Green here, he's working. And it comes down at an awkward angle. See if we can't get any information on him. Hopefully he's able to go, because as you mentioned, this offensive line has been pieced together.
Defensive line missing key pieces as well for Charlotte. You talked about the depth. That is a point of emphasis for Tim Albin over the next 6 weeks when the portal comes open, is depth on the lines. That is Jordan Norman from behind taking down Loftus. There was another offensive lineman a little banged up. Jesse Ramil kind of limping off the field for Charlotte.
Timeout,
Tulane. Down, and Tulane wants to try
30-second timeout.
Extend this lead even further.
Well, we talked a little bit about them trying to keep their foot on the gas to really try to put this game out of reach for Charlotte. And that's what you're trying to do if you're Tulane, is just how do we, and I hate to say it this way, but this is true, how do we make them quit? How do we make them be thinking about leaving, thinking about they just want to get out of here? The way to do that is to keep the foot on the gas. Now, was this a punch? Right there. Ooh. Looked like chippiness coming in there late.
He got away with one there as the punt backs Hayes up to the 20 where he fair catches it. And Tulane has 2 timeouts and they've got 45 seconds to work with to try and go down the field. They've got big play receivers, which we've seen.
Well, the other piece of this too for them is what a great training ground for 2-minute offense in a tough situation right before the half. They may have to do this again at some point as far as the rest of their season is concerned. So I love the idea of saying, let's put our guys in a game pressure moment, high pressure moment in a 2-minute offense, needing to put some points on the board.
Retzloff throwing toward the sideline. Brown-Stevens steps out after a quick completion. Just a few seconds tick off the clock down to 40.
You have to wonder here when they're going to start to try to stretch the field. They still have 2 timeouts with 40 seconds left. At some point, you're going to have to try to get some chump plays here.
Pistol formation, they will hand it to Gordon, who doesn't get much, just beyond the 30-yard line. Close to a first down. That's the second timeout.
That was a little bit of a head scratcher there. Just given they're trying to stretch the field and get this football down the field. To call that play in that moment, knowing you'd have to burn a timeout.
Maybe trying to get the first down and then rush to the line so you can save the timeout while the ball is reset and the clock stopped.
I mean, there's 1,000 ways to skin this right. You just got to try to figure out how to put your team in the best position there. And look, I've been so impressed with John Sumrall. We've had a chance to do a couple of their games. He's an impressive individual, but the most surprising thing for me, Chucky, is you got to remember, this is just his 4th year as a head coach. Just his 4th season as a head coach. So for his name to be in the running in a lot of these big scenarios with these Power 4 teams, in addition to the job he's done at Tulane, it's just a testament to a meteor rise for a young football coach.
And Pete Thamel reporting on College Game Day this morning. He is now the favorite for the Florida job with a decision expected tomorrow. Retzloff on the move, throwing downfield. It's off the hands of Colin Gill.
That's a heads-up play from Colin Gill there, just backing up into position in that zone drop. Colin Gill's number 3. He'll be to the right of this. He does a nice job of just backpedaling to where he thinks this football is going to go, reading the eyes and getting a hand on it. That's just a heads-up play from the redshirt sophomore.
2nd and 10, just 26 seconds left. Hand off to Gordon, who trips after a gain of 1, and Tulane might just let this tick to halftime. They will. Retzloff walking off the field, and not necessarily the drive they were hoping for, but John Sumrall happy with a 3-score lead headed to the break.
Well, they certainly got to be excited about where they are, given that they had 2 turnovers that really didn't hurt them in this football game. So all things still on the line for Tulane as they roll into the second half. They're playing well on defense, specifically tackling. That's been the difference in this game.
21-0 Tulane at halftime. On the other side, it's Kevin and Trevor for the halftime show. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Dr. Pepper. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Lovely night in New Orleans as Tulane hoping to punch their ticket to their 4th consecutive American Conference Championship game. With a win, they would host North Texas next Friday right here in New Orleans. Alongside Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. Tulane up 3 scores. Darius, haven't really played their best football, though.
Yeah, and that's the strange thing for them, is that they usually come out with a lot of poise, but it's been the mistakes that they've really hurt themselves. And it's in one of those situations, too, when you look at Charlotte with them being able to capitalize on it, they just were unable to do so. And so as we look to the future for Tulane, these are the areas where they're really going to have to clean it up. And the first one was Retzloff not saying Smith's in the back. He intercepts this. And then the second turnover happened, the fumble. Johnson does a good job of hitting him. Baldwin picks this up, is able to take it down, but Charlotte was just unable to capitalize in these moments. So Tulane got an interception on their side with Kevin Adams being able to take this one, which led to this 1-yard touchdown tush push from Justin Reed. Then Jake Retzloff gets into the end zone. But Tulane, not the cleanest first half at all, but they've done a good enough job to put themselves up 3 scores.
Quick start, too. Had 2 touchdowns in the first 9 minutes or so of the game. Retzloff still threw for a $174, rush for 2, set the single-season rushing record for a quarterback in Tulane history. John Sumrall, all the rumors about his future. They are 30 minutes from an American Conference Championship berth and hosting. Tim Albin a long way from that right now, but a man who has a lot of confidence in what he has done at other places and what he will do at Charlotte.
I think that is the good piece for Charlotte, though. They got a guy who has done this before, this being rebuilding a program and starting over from scratch. So we've seen some flashes from the 49ers even here today. You just got to be able to put all the pieces together at once.
To touchback, Charlotte's offense will take the field, led by not Grayson Loftus. They are going to make the change to Zach Wilkie, the redshirt junior from Hernando, Mississippi. We've seen him a little bit this year. He's thrown for 290 and 2 scores, a couple picks. Came into the USF game, and that's really where he did most of his work. 14 of 18 for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Now, he's a redshirt junior. He has a ton of experience at other places as well. We'll see if he can lean on that here to create a spark for this offense.
Sean Brown in motion. We've really only seen him targeted the one time. It's a nice catch down the sideline. They hand it off to Smith. He's tackled hard by Trayvon McAlpine.
And look, I like the call from Tim Alba. I love the call. Make a change, throw caution to the wind, see if Wilkie might be able to be the spark that you need on offense to try to give themselves a little bit of life to see if they can close the gap in this football game.
Hard hit as they throw it out to Javen Nicholas for a short gain. Javion White makes the stop. Remember, Connor Harrell, the quarterback for Charlotte, was injured in week 4, and they were starting to progress, but that was the big one that really set them back. They said he's been a great part of this. He's actually standing there right behind that curtain next to Grayson Loftus. They say he's still in the meeting, still in the game plan, and kind of taking mental reps. There's Connor Harrell.
You got to respect that. A guy who gets injured, still wanting to make an impact and to make a difference for his team. Love to see a guy continue to compete for his teammates.
The curtain is a director's nightmare. Johnny Hanna just devastated. Oh my goodness. Nicholas hit hard again. Javion White introducing himself to the New Orleans native. White, another one out of Louisiana from Winsboro.
And White's one of those guys who was part of Summerall's first-year recruiting class. So they like what Javion can do, really growing into a dynamic football player. Excellent job tracking Javion Nicholas that time on 2 separate plays to get themselves off the field.
4th down forces the punt from Bronson Long. Kind of a wobbling kick down to the 32 where Hayes Fair catches it to set up Tulane for their first drive of the second half.
Now, Chucky, we talked a little bit about the turnovers for Tulane on offense. Got a little bit sloppy. We're a little bit out of rhythm. One of the ways they can help themselves here early in this 3rd quarter is to commit to running the football. They've got McClure back in the game that first half. He had 6 carries for 36 yards. They got to hand this football off to number 25 a bit more to get this offense going.
He is in the backfield. Another good news. Johnny Pascuzzi, the tight end who left earlier, is also back in the game. Retzloff going to throw. Pressure picked up. There's Pascuzzi right on cue. Couple yards shy of a first down to the 40-yard line. Randy Franklin makes the stop. Tight ends are a big piece of it for them, though. They use all 3 of those guys.
They do, and it's great when they're both on the field, too, because you don't really know who to key on for the defense. Justin Reed, that time, had a flat route on the outside, took a little of attention away from Johnny Pascuzzi.
2nd and 2. McClure behind Retzloff. He will get the carry this time. He's bottled up quickly. He's going to be close to the first down. I think he's going to be just shy, though. Caden Schmitz made the tackle.
And this is what Schmitz and Taylor are going to have to do on that interior for linebackers. They got to shoot the gaps very quickly and aggressively. Number 19 that time for Charlotte did a good job of just breaking inside immediately to make a play to force a 3rd down and short.
Tulane 4 for 5 on 3rd down today. There's Justin Reed, one of the big tight ends in motion. Sets up right behind the left tackle, Derek Graham. Retzloff trying to sneak it. He's pushed backwards, and he's hit hard. There's a flag on the play. Retzloff is short, but we'll see what the flag is. The referee's mic did not work, but that was against Charlotte. And it's going to be a first down for Tulane.
And these self-inflicted wounds for Charlotte just continue. Seems like every time they make a good play, have a little bit of success, they retreat and hurt themselves in some type of way. Unable to clean it up here.
Retzloff pressure coming, quick pass out there on a slant pattern to Preston, who carries the defender to the 33-yard line.
This is a nice job with the crossing routes for Preston and Justin Reed. The tight end's going to run the flat route while Preston runs the slant route right into the middle there. Nice job of settling down and catching that football. Nice timing pass from Jake Retzloff there. That's a quarterback and a wide receiver in sync.
The backup quarterback, Brendan Sullivan, is standing next to Jake Retzloff. We saw him in the game earlier throwing a pass. They will play action off Sullivan and throw it to the other side to Gordon. And Sullivan will jog off, but just kind of putting something on tape.
Yeah, there you go. Digging down into that playbook. Incredible job offensively of just mixing it up. We were expecting to see a little bit of that from Charlotte, but watch Jalen Johnson, the defensive end, number 24. He's the guy that needs to stop and try to take the running back on that flat route. Just doesn't recognize it in time to be able to make a difference. The result of the play brings up a 2nd and short.
Gordon the back, gets it, bounces it outside as a first down and more. Gordon still on his feet inside the 10. There's a flag back at the line of scrimmage. And it's going against Tulane, holding. It's going to come back.
That's unfortunate for them because what
Offense,
a play.
Number 56, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
They got Shadri Hurst, the left guard, on the hole. Big time play from Gordon. Watch Derek Garman here, though. The tackle, he's the one who creates that space, but you see the hold there from Hurst. Anytime you're pulling and tugging on that jersey, pretty easy call for the officials. And in this series, we've seen both teams hurt themselves, negating positive plays.
First one on Tulane tonight. They're one of the most penalized teams in the country. 2nd and 11, Brown-Stevens motions and goes right back where he came from. Retzloff in the pocket collapsing, runs into his right tackle, Baker, and Retzloff is driven into the turf hard after he throws it away by Caden Schmitz. He is taking some shots tonight.
He is taking a beating for sure. What a job by Schmitz here. Schmitz comes on the pressure, so does Shea Taylor, 35 and 19. We got Baldwin on the outside on the hole, and this system continues for Charlotte here where they have a good play and then they negate that good play with a miscue or a penalty. But the blitz has been something, at least defensively right now, for the 49ers that has resulted in some success in getting hits on the quarterback.
Holding in the secondary sets up 1st and 10. Short run for McClure on first down for 2 yards. Now there's some fighting going on downfield. It's Schmitz and Shadre Hurst. They were down inside the 10-yard line. A helmet came off of Caden Schmitz. They got to get a lid on this quickly.
They most certainly do. Now, I'm not surprised that this offensive line, we've talked about them being some of the best in the American Conference, that they're upset about the extra hits that have been happening on the quarterback. But Shadri Hurst just drives.
After the play was over,
Schmitz.
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 56, 15-yard penalty. The down counts, it'll be 2nd down.
Now, it looked like a clean block. The question just becomes, when was the whistle blown? But you got to give your hat off to Shadri Hurst. I mean, he's driving his guy 10 to 15 yards down the field.
Schmitz was not happy about it. He has to come off the field because his helmet came off at the end of it. So now it's going to be 2nd and about 22. They're 23 with 9.5 to play in the third quarter. Couple Tulane penalties. Handoff to Gordon, trying to go right side. He's wrapped up by Reed Williford. And gets very minimal yardage to set up 3rd and long.
And you see the difference here just in this series. This is what was missing for Charlotte in the second quarter and in part of the first quarter. Just those touch plays where you've got a guy who has the football, being able to show your fundamentals and just get him down. And we see that what the result is for Charlotte when they can win in space on defense and get these ball carriers down. They can play with anyone.
Omari Hayes in motion still. 3rd and 23. Retzlaff, 4-man rush. Throwing, oh, it should have been picked off. Gavin Willis jumped it, and you just wonder where he'd have ran to if he'd have been able to hang on to that football.
Oh, what a missed opportunity from Gavin Willis here. We saw the interception earlier from Smits. This time, Willis backs up in that zone coverage, and Retzlaff just doesn't see him. He's trying to get the football to Anthony Brown-Stevens there, but a nice job of just baiting that quarterback and backing up into the zone area, following those eyes by Gavin Willis. And he had so much green grass in front of him, that just could have changed the whole direction of this football game.
Now we get to see one of the best kickers in the country, Patrick Durkin. This would be a new career high from 55, and it's going to be well short. Just didn't hit that cleanly. He's hit from 56 in practice. We saw him twice last week hit from 50 plus, but did not have enough in the leg for that one. Charlotte gets the football back after the missed field goal by Durkin, a rarity. They still lead by 3 touchdowns here in New Orleans. Tim Albin, year 1 as the Charlotte head coach, has not gone how he planned. You go all the way back to the early 2000s, spent 4 years under Frank Solich at Nebraska, then 2 decades at Ohio, went with Solich there. But first season, getting his feet wet a little bit, getting his feet under him and trying to figure things out. The rest, though, 20-3 at Northwestern Oklahoma State, 30-10 the last 3 years at Ohio, and their first MAC championship since the 60s.
Positive things to come for sure for Charlotte, given the history.
Haney on the ground is driven backwards. Javion White has been everywhere for Tulane. What's it got to be for, when we talked to Tim Albin, said, look, the next 6 to 8 weeks is going to define the 26th season because you get the portal to open in early January, and you got to build your team there.
Well, the other thing is what you're trying to look for when you're building a program are signature wins. This would just be a signature win for Charlotte if they could figure out how to get this game close. They use that momentum to recruit, to fundraise, all the stuff that head coaches have to do. You just need a program win.
Wilkie on the keeper gets back to the original line of scrimmage. And he said, look, people might have thought I was crazy when I left Northwestern Oklahoma State. We won an NAIA national title there. They went and ran it back the next year as the runners-up. Thought maybe they think I'm crazy now for leaving Ohio after the success they had, but he believes in the project that he's trying to build at Charlotte.
Well, the other thing I respect is just what he talked about in terms of recruiting, where he's looking for good human beings first, good football players second. I just think that gets lost sometimes in college football, that you also have a duty to influence these student athletes to turn them into men.
3rd and 10. Would love to see his offense get something going here. Just over 7 to play in the game. This is a dangerous throw, and it's intercepted by Mo Westmoreland, the big pass rusher from Houston, Texas, transferred over from UTEP as his first interception.
Now, this is a big fella watching film. This guy is watching film, understanding what's going to happen with this offense and what they're going to try to do. Watch Westmoreland here, number 0. He is a defensive end. He's just going to back up because he sees where this ball is going and has been in the film room junkie. Tulane gets their 2nd turnover of the night.
The selection show on Sunday, noon Eastern. That's a 4-hour special. Here's how it looks right now based on the current rankings. Tulane would travel to Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. As it stands, winner would take on Georgia in the quarterfinals. Miami, the other one who needs to win the ACC to get that 11 seed to take on Oregon in Eugene. Some really good matchups that you could potentially have. And for Tulane, a team who's really comfortable going on the road. Have won 19 of their last 23 on the road. Retzloff throwing downfield, it's intercepted. Jaquarius Conley, his third of the year, that leads the team. And for everything that's happened tonight for Charlotte offensively, this defense has done everything they can.
Well, we've seen this a couple of times here in the second half where Jake Retzloff is just off. I mean, this is an underthrown football in a one-on-one situation. That's just an underthrown ball. Now, a nice job by Conley of coming back and making the catch. But that has no chance given the trajectory of the football. We saw Gavin Willis drop an interception on that last series as well. Right now, the quarterback for Tulane, Jake Retzloff, is not seeing the football field the way he typically does.
Grayson Loftus is back at quarterback for Charlotte. Sean Brown in motion next to Nicholas on the near side of the field. They want to take a shot. This is Nicholas making the catch, and he is across the 35. That's one of their best connections of the season. He's got a massive crowd in the stands, family and friends, 40 of them to watch him.
Incredible job running this route here. Nicholas was open. I also thought Sean Brown on the deep ball was another guy who could have been open. But a nice job by Loftus of throwing that football to the middle of the field where Nicholas can catch it and get down to pick up the first down.
1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Little pitch play here. Cameron Smith trying to get outside, and he's got one of their longer rushes of the game for 11 yards to move the chains.
A little bit of life right now for the 49ers. Watch E.J. Mason here, number 7. He's going to come in the screen towards the right of this with the block. The wide receiver blocking on the edge. Such a difference maker in the stretch game. Nice job blocking on the outside. Love to see that. Another big positive gain for Charlotte.
Loftus throwing, caught by Brown for a gain of about 5. There's just a little bit different tempo and pace about this offense right now.
Well, you feel like they got a little bit of pep in their step too. I think Loftus needed a second to get off the field to come back on. Now, what they're also doing here this series is they're going a little bit faster to the line of scrimmage, understanding the clock is working against them. But I think because they're moving quicker, there's just less of a thought process across the board for this offense.
2nd and 5. Loftus, a guy who transferred from Duke, spent 2 years there, didn't throw a pass last year, but he made 5 starts to close out his true freshman season, so had good experience. As they go to the ground, Norman makes the stop. It's a gain of about 2 to set up 3rd and short.
The other piece of this too, just given Loftus and his trajectory, get thrown in the action after the injury in week 4, having to start. It's also about building confidence, and sometimes it takes time to do that for young players, but the way you can do that is by helping him with shorter reads, shorter routes, quicker pace. All on full display on this series right now for the 49ers.
Charlotte just 2 for 9 on 3rd down. This is a 3rd and 3. Pressure coming. Loftus flushed, and he is taken down a long way in the backfield by T.J. Smith.
What a play from T.J. Smith here. Sam Howard, the backer, number 15, was the first guy who came untouched towards the middle. Cameron Smith does a good job of trying to pick up that color. But there's just too many blue jerseys around for Loftus to make anything of it.
How many times have we seen the defense make a big play and the offense go nowhere?
Just unfortunate again after another turnover to not get any productivity out of it.
Tulane's coming after this and almost got to it. Maybe even a fingertip, just the way that ball came off the foot of Long. Takes a Charlotte roll all the way down to about the 11-yard line. 11+ minutes played here in the 3rd quarter, and nobody has scored in the 2nd half. Still 21-0 Tulane. John Sumrall, 4th year as a head coach. 2 at Troy, 2 at Tulane. All he's done is win. He's taken in the festivities of senior night with his team. Would not know this is a guy whose name is right at the top of the list for all these coaching openings. And this was him pregame talking to his team.
Do your job. Hey, for the team. Everybody got it. Know your role. Embrace your role. Be a star of your role. Let's lock the freaking game. Plenty to live.
I mean, he is fired up. And Darius, Pete Thamel reporting on College Game Day this morning as McClure trying to break through for one of his bigger runs all the way down to the 37. Thamel saying on College Game Day this morning, John Sumrall has emerged as the favorite for the Florida job and set to make a decision potentially as early as tomorrow. There's just a lot surrounding this program, but it's something he told us last week. He addressed this at the beginning of the year. Just wait till the end of the season to make these decisions.
No doubt about it.
Out to Brown-Stevens for another first down.
But what I love is just the intensity. This is the head coach. Now, there are a lot of different ways to pump your team up to try to get guys hyped for the game, but like he has a calmness to him, but he picks his moments strategically and in the right place to get the guys influenced enough to want to play for him. I mean, I heard that lock the gates. I'm ready to get down. Like put me in, coach. Let me lock the gate with you just once, and then I'll step on the other side of the gate and you guys continue.
We've had a couple chats with him this year. I think we both enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
See the way he connects with his players. Retzloff, plenty of time. Finally, it closes down out to Reed, who dives ahead for a pickup of about 8 on first down. But he said he did a summer speaker series. Kind of brought somebody in every couple weeks to talk to the team. So the last one, I got up in front of him. I said, I'm talking to you today. I said, look, if we start winning, you're going to hear a lot of things about all the jobs I should take. Maybe the places you should go in the portal. If we start losing, you might hear the opposite thing. Just love that he addressed it with some honesty with his team.
Yeah, he really worked this into existence too with his interest and ability to be able to put this team in position to play for a conference championship next week and a potential playoff berth. It's really, really, really hard to believe that he's only been a head coach for 4 years. It normally doesn't happen that fast, Chucky. It's normally not that fast.
Had been at Tulane before, spent 3 years as the co-defensive coordinator back from 2012 to 2014. Building off a 9-5 season a year ago. Gordon, another nice carry here to pick up the 3rd and short down to the 31. And this feels like Tulane trying to close the door for good on this drive.
Yeah, so there's really this offensive line just continuing to keep rolling. The right guard that time, Elijah Baker, number 73, had a terrific block on the inside to create that space for Gordon to get up the field, to pick up positive yardage. And that, to me, is where they really have their strength, is the line of scrimmage on both offense and defense. It's just hard to defend against.
Wild throw by Retzloff, frustrated with himself there.
And I think for John Sumrall, as they look to the future, and the future just being next week, if they can close out this game with a win, is what are the areas of growth that they need to focus on? And certainly the turnovers. But I think right now for Retzloff, like, he just has taken a significant step back in going through his progressions and finding the wide receiver. And so I think that's something that they're going to have to address going into next week, because they cannot win if he's not seeing the field appropriately.
Saw it that time to Brown-Stevens trying to get outside. Dragged down right at the 20, should be good for a first down.
Excellent job by Retzloff here, just recognizing it's an all-out blitz. Shea Taylor and Smits, both backers, came through the A-gaps. Retzloff recognized it, needed to get rid of the football quickly.
Out wide to Hayes. He ends up getting hard. Oh, Hayes is down. He dodged one, and then you could hear the thud of the second hit on Omari Hayes, and just hope he's okay.
There's Reed Williford, number 40, the Mike backer, coming in as the second guy to make that play.
There's some pushing and shoving happening between these two teams. And John Sumrall and his coaching staff trying to get his team back on the sideline. Some chirping happening. Shea Taylor was kind of at the forefront of it for Charlotte and a few others. Hayes is sitting up right now, which is good to see. And even better to watch him walk off under his own power.
You know, a lot of this chirpiness, chippiness started when Jake Resloff was taking those hits on his side from the quarterback position. And so we haven't really gotten the bull by the horn on the chippiness that's sort of happening across the field right now. I think both these teams are gonna have to figure out how to settle down, because we don't want problems as we move forward. Still a whole another quarter left of football to play.
Well, you could probably see what John Sumrall was saying to the official right there. Not happy about something. Like Retzloff throws short to Gordon, who fumbles it out of bounds. Right to his head coach, who is, I think, a little frustrated about some of those miscues. They asked him in the press conference last week, do you think you're a top 25 team? He said, there must be a lot of bad football happening if that's the case. We're an average team, and part of it is they've just been a little up and down at times, and this is another one of those games, despite leading by 3 touchdowns and despite being 15 minutes from punching their ticket to the American Conference Championship, a game they would host here in New Orleans next week against North Texas. Still 15 minutes to play, though, tonight. It has been a beautiful night in New Orleans and a busy weekend here. Another big game, Southern Grambling, that was played at the Superdome earlier today, and it is a party atmosphere downtown, as it always is in New Orleans, of course. Tulane at their home stadium, little party atmosphere as well. I think they've got some local schools in attendance to help promote Tulane athletics as well down the stretch. The students will get back tomorrow from a break for the most part. Retzloff throwing, it was batted and still caught by Brown Stevens. The ball's on the ground again. And everybody on the field is in a dog pile.
Well, we've been seeing Charlotte dial up the blitz here. It looks like Tulane was able to come up with this football.
The fumble was recovered by the offense. It's 4th down.
Reed Williford, that time number 40. Blitzed for the 49ers. And then at the end of this play, just a lot of arms in there and a lot of pulling and tugging. Incredible job by Randy Franklin there, number 0, of knocking that football out.
4th fumble for Tulane. They've only lost 1 of them. It was the McClure fumble earlier tonight. For Durkin, this is a 36-yarder miss from 55 earlier, just his 2nd miss of the season. This has more than enough leg, and it is good to make it 24-0. Here's a look at next weekend's ABC College Football Conference Championship lineup. It starts in the American at 8 Eastern on Friday night. And then Saturday, the Big 12 title game at noon Eastern, followed by the SEC and the ACC will be at 8 Eastern. Miami needs it to reach the playoff. They were rolling, I think, early on. We had talked almost every week through the first 5 or 6 weeks. Like, man, is Miami the best team in the country? And then tripped up a little bit, but they've still got their opportunity to make it.
It just goes to show you, I mean, anybody can beat anybody these days in college football.
Interesting for Tulane. Some hype around them as they went into that Ole Miss game, and people thought, oh, can they go in and shock Ole Miss? They got blown out in that game 45-10, and so from that point on, it feels like the green wave have almost flown under the radar a little bit. Memphis had their moment, South Florida had their moment, and Tulane is the one right here with a chance to go back to the American Conference Championship.
I think part of it, too, is just how they play their game, how they win. It's not the most attractive from statistics. I think that plays into the factor as well.
Kick was knocked down for a second and returned just across the 25. Here's our College Football Award Spotlight, brought to you by the Home Depot, featuring the Doak Walker Award. Ahmad Hardy, Juan Lacey, and Jeremiah Love. A lot of talk that Jeremiah Love, one of the greatest Notre Dame running backs in history.
Man, I don't know. That's the word on the street, huh? Well, I will say he's dynamic. All of these guys certainly deserving of the Doak Walker Award. But to that point about just Notre Dame running backs, I want to hesitate a little bit. We can get into that conversation, but we can hesitate just a bit.
Throw out wide to Brown is completed for a gain of 7. Remember to tune in for the Home Depot College Football Award Show Friday, December 12th at 7 p.m. on ESPN. I mean, you're top 5 in Notre Dame history in rushing yards in just 3 years.
Yeah, and that's where I think if we're talking about career stuff, we just got to look at the numbers. I'm not saying Jeremiah Love isn't deserving of that comment. Let's just look at the numbers for a moment and discuss amongst ourselves.
Timeout.
See where we
Charlotte.
land.
Lest we forget.
It's just, you know, anytime you have a good player on a team, they're happy to sweep the old guys under the rug as it relates to it.
You got some beef with Reggie Bush and Darren McFadden from Doak Walker.
Immediate timeout on the field.
Quite a bit of beef across the country, especially at those Trojans during my day.
13 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Tulane up 24 on Charlotte. Kick out your Week 13 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the ESPN app. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews of each game right up to kickoff. And then our Week 13 Monday Night Football matchup, it's the AFC leading Patriots. They have won 9 straight. They've got the Giants at 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Peyton and Eli over on E2. And coverage begins with NFL Live at 3 Eastern, then SVP and the Monday Night Countdown Crew at 6 Eastern. 9 straight for the Patriots. Here's the trickery a little bit for Charlotte that you've been looking for. It comes on second down. Javen Nicholas gets leveled, and they do have a first down. Elijah Champagne on the hit.
Wow, what a shot Nicholas took here. I like the call, though. They're trying to run this reverse here just to get Nicholas into some space on the outside, but he does not see that big body coming back in on the inside and just gets leveled at the end of that play by Champagne.
6'2", 290, moving quickly. Loftus long throw, and that was almost a house call for Javion White. We talked about him a little bit earlier. He was playing behind a third-round draft pick, Caleb Ransaw, a year ago, but they love this guy. He's the ultimate competitor.
Oh, he plays so well on the back end, and he's rangy, too. I think he gets a little surprised here that this ball is there. If his eyes are on the quarterback, he's able to pick this and take it to the house. Another one of those miscues from Grayson Loftus, though, going through his progressions, not seeing the color right, having another one of those young moments by putting the football where it shouldn't be.
2nd and 10. Loftus, another long throw. This time it's caught by Miles Burris. Pushed out at the 48-yard line. Now back in the backfield, there's some more chippiness happening. Jordan Norman lost his helmet. 2 flags on the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both dead ball and unsportsmanlike. Sportsmanlike, offense, number 68, and defense, number 9. Those fouls offset, though are both of theirs first unsportsmanlike towards disqualification.
Now, Chucky, I just want to commend John Sumrall on the way he reacted to that play as it relates to his player and their portion in it. In a lot of those instances, you will see coaches just be really emotional, really upset about the performance and the penalty as it relates to it. And we'll take another look at this at the end of this play. But I have to commend Sumrall on using it as a teaching moment and doing it in a calm, sort of fatherly-like way. I think that's what makes the difference for him in terms of how he connects with his football players.
False start, offense, number 88, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And we saw a similar thing last week, too, and we're talking about high-pressure games as well on the road last week at Temple. So it's not just because they're up 24-0. That's just something he has done.
And it's really just kind of goes against the grain of what you typically see coaches do in that moment and in that situation. And it's not only that play. They're having a frustrating performance in a lot of different areas. So for him to still be calm and cool, again, I say bravo, coach. That's hard to do.
3rd and 6. Charlotte just 2 for 10 on 3rd down tonight. Pressure coming. Loftus launching downfield, and it is caught incomplete. Was juggling it on the way out
Rolling
of bounds.
on the field is an incomplete pass. 4th down.
It's a great job just tracking that ball by Nicholas.
The rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. It's 4th down.
But Chris Rogers is the guy for the Green Wave. Number 4. Their backer who goes inside. And what a job at the end of this play. And Nicholas just trying to catch that football. You see it was bobbling and it hits the ground there. Clearly out of bounds. That would have been a heck of a catch if he was able to hang on to it.
Timeout, Charlotte. Their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
Timeout Charlotte on 4th and 6. Tim Albin, just feel for him a little bit because of the injuries they've dealt with. Year one, you're trying to lay a foundation, and you feel like you've really kind of been held back in a lot of ways from doing that.
Well, too, they've called a lot of good plays today, especially on defense, to put the guys in position. So it's not just the injuries. It's also the fact that you call the right plays systematically, and the guys just can't make it.
Oliver Mitchell Jr. going to get a chance to return this. True freshman from New Orleans, went to Edna Carr High School. Catches it at the 10-yard line, a fair catch. 24-0.
Media timeout on the field.
Gotta love the nightlife in New Orleans. Bourbon Street. That's gonna be a party tonight.
College football is presented by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Well, Tulane's on their way to 4 straight if they hang on to win this game. They haven't won it since 2022 here in New Orleans over UCF. Lost last year to Army in West Point. AT&T is keeping you connected with our bracket insights. Best chances maybe here. This is the comparison between the best group of 6 teams, James Madison, North Texas, and Tulane. It's really interesting because Tulane is the team that the committee likes most right now.
Yeah, out of these 3 for sure, with the way they've been playing. I think it's those non-conference wins, too, for Tulane earlier in the year. Help push that narrative.
Pascuzzi makes the grab on 1st down. Sign up now at ESPN.com and fill out your own CFP bracket challenge presented by AT&T. And that's what they've said. They like those early challenges. Northwestern, Duke, even at Ole Miss. But they got the wins over Northwestern and Duke.
That was earlier in the season, but just an excellent performance to start the year for the Green Wave. They really have kept that in motion the rest of the way.
2nd down handoff going up the middle and stood up after about a yard. With a win tonight, Tulane would have 42 since 2022. That's 6th best in the nation. We've seen some of the numbers, the road victories, the conference winning percentage. Just a lot of things that point to Tulane's dominance over the last 4 years.
And I say this with an asterisk just because it's what we're seeing now. They did not play like they played today so far in any of those contests and in any of those games. So this is a team right now that is honestly not playing well.
Retzloff sets up, throws a little corner route. It's incomplete, maybe tipped up front. He was looking for Shaz Preston, and that was a quick 3-and-out from Tulane.
We talked a little bit about John Summerall and him mentioning that he felt like his team was an average football team as it relates to it. Today, they have certainly looked like that today. I would say prior to this, they certainly looked like a different team that was worthy of the grade, but with the way they played in this football game, they're gonna have no shot next week if they show up against North Texas the way they showed up here today. So there's a lot to clean up for Tulane if they can edge out in this game.
I think you've seen it in one game alone in Memphis. They scored 35 first-half points against Memphis and then just 3 in the second half. And you were talking about North Texas, the high-powered offense. Drew Mestemaker, a redshirt freshman. Eric Morris loves this guy. He's worked with some outstanding quarterbacks.
Yes.
And he told us, and we both were astonished by it, but he said he might be the best one. He's just not played a lot of football out of high school, and he comes in and he's torn it up, and then Caleb Hawkins is a true freshman.
Yeah, both these guys have really just been lighting it up, and two really young football players making a massive difference on their teams. Now, the interesting piece for North Texas, we know Eric Morris is leaving his post as the head coach there.
Nice tackle in open space by Chris Rogers.
Rogers continuing to show up in this football game after having stepped in for Dixon Agu earlier this season. Those are the bright spots, the real bright spots for Tulane, especially on defense, is just the tackling in space. They are as good as anyone in those one-on-one situations defensively. They desperately need to clean up some of the other stuff in a hurry.
8 Eastern next Friday, the American Conference Championship on ABC. My goodness, another just bone-crunching hit by Chris Rogers.
And look, this is a guy who's just continuing to play. He's like, I'm in the game in this spot. I'm not going to slow down or alter my play regardless of what the scenario and the situation is in this game.
Charlotte just 7 yards rushing on 19 carries.
Look, the ground game hasn't worked for Charlotte. They haven't really committed to it either, but we know the struggles they have on the offensive line. I want to see them try to air it out some.
Loftus steps up, gets out of the pocket, throws it short to one of the tight ends, who is upended by TJ Smith. Flag in the backfield, more pushing and shoving here, and you got to be careful if you are, especially if you're a Tulane player. You got a conference championship in potentially 6 days' time. Don't want to do something to jeopardize your participation in said game.
There's a lot on the line there. That's Cameron Hamilton there, one of their leaders on defense.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 58. 15-yard penalty, the down counts. It's 4th down.
Let's take another look at this. We'll see him right on the interior of that offensive line. There's Hamilton trying to get to the quarterback. A little bit of that pushing and shoving after the play. Good time hit, though.
Ends up 4th and 25, and another punt for Bronson Long. Mitchell, oh man, soft hands to fair catch that at the 31-yard line. Look like you.
I'll take that compliment. Welcome back in. Tulane's up 24-0. Jake Retzloff, their quarterback, one of the best in the conference, has struggled today. That was his first interception of the day. Didn't see the linebacker. Then in a similar fashion, didn't see the linebacker again with a miss there. And then this, his second interception on an underthrown football. And that's been the story so far here for Jake Retzloff. Not the type of night he typically has. as a leader of this offense.
Maybe just not the momentum offensively they were looking to take into the conference championship game, as McClure is dragged down quickly by Shea Taylor. And it started so well too, Darius. Those first two drives, I mean, it looked like they were just going to light it up tonight offensively.
And look, the numbers just really tell the story for them. This kind of performance from Jake Resloff against North Texas, certainly against anyone in the college football playoff, is not going to be a positive recipe of success for Tulane. So there's a lot to clean up in a hurry if they can win this football game.
Mama Hat absorbs the contact and has a first down across the 45-yard line. And I mentioned it, but that Memphis first half, that was as good as this Tulane offense has been all year. They looked unstoppable.
And I think with the addition of McClure really running things well, he's got 10 carries, 66 yards here on the day. Adding him is going to add fuel to the fire offensively for them. As Trey Shackelford makes a big play on the outside.
Remember, they are without one of their top receivers on the season, Bryce Bohannon, for the second straight game as well.
What a nice job working against Baldwin there. Baldwin slips on the way back in. And not to go back to this again, but it merits saying again for Charlotte, guys in position just unable to make tackles. So there's some fundamental things happening for Charlotte defensively that you can kind of only correct in practice by working it, giving examples, going again. It's technique, it's run fits, it's the simple stuff that unfortunately has been missed for them defensively all night tonight.
Randy Franklin is helped off for Charlotte from that far sideline. A couple years at Navy to begin his career. There's Bohannon, Bryce Bohannon, injured in practice a week ago. Missed the Temple game, out again tonight. That's a big miss for them. Just a reliable target that Retzloff really trusts.
Yeah, and he's a fifth-year senior, so he's experienced, really good in these moments as an energy guy and a vocal leader too. I definitely miss him.
Retzloff under pressure out to Brown Stevens, who said his name a lot tonight, tackled by Caleb Curtin quickly. One more note on Bohannon. John Summerall and Joe Craddock, their offensive coordinator, rave about him. Said, look, one of the best kids, big fans of his, but said if he ever wants to coach, he'll always have a job with us.
And that's a pretty cool thing to hear from your coach, from your current coach, just to say that you've put in the time and earned the respect in a way that could dictate your future later on, should he have any interest in coaching. So sky's the limit for this guy. They certainly miss him on the field as a leader. He has a bright future either way.
Came into the year with 22 career catches, had 31 this season, as that's incomplete from Retzloff on third down.
Just a miscommunication between quarterback and Mama Hat on the outside. Mama Hat was up the field, and Retzloff thought he was going to come back. So again, that disconnect right now, especially with mentioning Bryce Bohannon being out, the disconnect between wide receivers and quarterback on full display here today in an unfortunate way for Tulane.
The other interesting piece for this offense for Tulane, Retzloff has not ran the football at all tonight. He has not really ran it over the last now 2+ weeks. So that is something to keep an eye on. He's been questionable on the injury report a couple times.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Tulane.
You just wonder
30-second timeout.
where he's at, because he is so electric when he does run the football.
And they call it a lot too, and you can tell that there's something going on there, because they're not even dialing it up as far as giving him an opportunity as a runner. But they've got a lot on their hands over the next week to try to fix some issues.
What's the biggest matchup? You see North Texas this year. What's the biggest matchup in that game that you'll keep an eye on?
It's the tempo of the offense. That offense moves so fast. It's a no huddle, spread you out, go extremely fast. The problem for Tulane, I would see, is that Tulane's defense the strength of their defense is the defensive line. When you're going up against an up-tempo offense that moves the ball quickly, that defensive line kind of gets nullified and negated because the ball is moving so quickly. It's the back end for Tulane where they really need to put some effort and some energy in. So that, to me, is the matchup to watch for those two teams. Should Tulane figure out how to win this football game.
This is from 52 for Patrick Durkin. He hit here from the same distance last week to set a career high, and he gets this one to match it. After missing earlier from 55, he is fired up with his head coach.
When you talk about successful teams and teams vying for conference championships and college football playoff berths, the kicking game becomes critical and vital. And Patrick Durkin has proved night in and night out that he is an asset and an absolute weapon for this team offensively in terms of putting up points. As far as the conference is concerned, he is top 5 for points per game as it relates to the American Conference as a whole. So not only a good kicker, an elite kicker.
How about Alec Clark, the artist with the hold, the little spin at the end?
Twist.
Perfect.
I don't love it.
5:51 to play. Tulane trying to pitch a shutout in the regular season finale and get to 10 wins on the season. Bowl eligible in 7 of the last 8 years. Durkin drives that out of the end zone. The 3rd annual ACC-SEC Challenge begins Tuesday night. Our must-see ESPN men's basketball doubleheader. Top 10 matchup, Duke hosting Florida at Cameron Indoor at 7:30 Eastern. And then the battle of the Blue Bloods, North Carolina at Rupp Arena taking on number 19 Kentucky. A couple great games on the schedule. Caleb Wilson, 20 a game as a true freshman for North Carolina. Great freshman class. Could you hoop?
I could hoop back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of my bags.
Okay. I figured you could.
I think if you ask me anything these days, I'd say I could do it.
I like it. There's no proof at this point. It's a nice throw by Loftus over the middle, hitting E.J. Mason. Kevin Adams makes the tackle.
E.J. Mason's a guy whose name we really should be calling more, given his ability as a slot wide receiver. He got 4 catches on the day. Not a whole lot of productivity out of this offense.
Loftus throwing outside. It is caught just above the turf by Sean Brown. Really only the one shot at Sean Brown, too. He made a nice catch down the sideline. They had the completion to Nicholas earlier, and you said that could have taken a shot at Sean Brown over the top as well, but he's a big target.
He sure is a big target, and he's underutilized in this offense, and especially this game, just given the plays that he can make.
Loftus to Gainey out of the backfield. He's going to lose a yard. Mo Westmoreland had the interception earlier, gets the TFL on this play.
Just to go back to that Sean Brown point, so he's got 5 catches for 49 yards, and he's just, should that be 10 opportunities? And that is where I go to for Charlotte and offensively, is just taking a chance and giving their stars an opportunity to win a one-on-one matchup. They just haven't tried to.
5 catches on 5 targets, to your point as well. So it has been an efficient link-up between him and Loftus. 3rd down. Westmoreland got there, as well as others. His defensive line, so impressive. One of the best in the American Conference.
Well, not only the interception from Westmoreland, he beats Tyler Gibson here on the outside. Speed rush around him to get to the quarterback from the big fella up front. This defensive line, you mentioned it, one of the best in the American Conference.
That was a true freshman too. Josh Lewis in on that with Westmoreland. The defense loved it for the true freshman, Louisiana native. Tulane gets the ball back maybe for the last time tonight with 3:35 to play in this 4th quarter. Alabama-Auburn still in a close one, and yet another result in this final week of the regular season that could really shake up the college football playoff.
I want to go back to Chucky to just, John Sumrall and what he's been able to do. So we take a look at Jake Resloff on the sideline with Brendan Sullivan coming into the game now. We saw him play in spots early in the game. Love to see him getting some QB action here to close out this game. But to go back to John Sumrall, for him, again, this is only year 4 as a head coach, and the opportunity in the landscape is kind of open at this point. Now, when we asked him directly about what it takes, what he's looking for in his role and opportunities. He said 2 things. The first thing was his family. Is his family taken care of? Because it's no longer about money for him. And then the second thing was, does he have the resources to win a conference championship? I think we can definitively say that the answer to both of those questions, at least here in New Orleans, is yes. They're set up for a conference championship next week. His family seems to be really happy and enjoying this area. So he has that with him. I think that's going to be some hard questions he's going to have to ask himself in some of these opportunities, depending upon if those 2 things are checked off the list.
Could it possibly be Florida? How much will we find out tomorrow, too, with Lane Kiffin and everything still up in the air? Sullivan lofting it down the sideline. That is a great catch by the freshman running back, Javen Gordon. They've thrown it to him quite a bit tonight, and he shows off the receiving skills.
He's versatile, working against Reed Williford here. Watch 40. Number 40's one-on-one with Gordon on the outside. Williford doesn't turn around to find the football. If he turns his head, he can knock that football down. But he doesn't see it. Big pickup for Gordon.
Sullivan showing off the legs again. He's a really athletic quarterback back there, just like Retzloff. As we tick toward the 2-minute timeout, and likely the last play before it was.
It's a 2-minute timeout, full timeout on the field.
See if Brendan Sullivan can cap the night with more points for Tulane when we come back. Talking about all that is to come in college football. Of course, the playoff coming out on Sunday, but all these coaches that have been fired since week 1. Of course, James Franklin already has been hired by Virginia Tech, but just down the road, Brian Kelly in LSU, Hugh Freeze at Auburn, Billy Napier at Florida. That was early in the year. A lot of movement going to happen in this offseason, and quickly over the next couple weeks.
And it's hard to believe so many teams are going to be looking for new leadership across football. And it's actually a really good point, I think, for John Sumrall as he thinks through what's next for him. In a lot of these instances, what I think can get lost, Chucky, sometimes as a head coach is that when you have success somewhere, it actually starts to get easier the longer you're there. Because recruiting gets simpler, you already have a system and a program in place that's successful. You can recruit easier. It gets easier to fundraise. You know who to go to booster-wise as far as that position goes. So I just think sometimes, even though you might be chasing a bigger opportunity and a bigger check, if you will, sometimes what can get lost is that it's a harder job to go somewhere else to start over.
McClure thought he had broken that.
Progress was stopped.
But his forward progress was stopped. So they rule it back at the 45-yard line.
And I mean, you look back at that list of like the vacancies, you know, and Brian Kelly in his time at LSU, and I understand all the back and forth between what was owed to him and whatnot, but you think he would have wanted to go somewhere, to be somewhere where he could have been longer term, possibly staying at Notre Dame and having to run out his career there, where you've got positivity, you've got legacy, even if it's for a little less money. I mean, at some point, I think that has to factor into the decision-making for a lot of these coaches across the country.
Speaking of long-term, Mike Gundy let go by Oklahoma State after a long tenure there. Here's Nicholas down the sideline, maybe the last act for the New Orleans native in front of friends and family who have waited out a tough performance from Charlotte, which will have them finish the season 1-11. Tulane will get to 10 wins under John Sumrall in year 2. one more than last year's total of 9. Jake Retzloff came in from BYU, a guy that Sumrall was familiar with, having had recruited him at Troy. At the end of the day, the pieces came together for Tulane to go back to the American Conference Championship and have a chance to reach the college football playoff for the first time in program history. Something John Sumrall said at his introductory press conference. He said, I'm telling you right now, I'm speaking it into existence.
Incomplete pass, second down.
We're going to make the college football playoff, and we're going to win it.
I mean, that's a bold claim by any coach, but if there's anyone who has backed up and practiced what he preached, it's definitely John Sumrall with the job he's done in such a short amount of time here in New Orleans.
The one thing I think you get from this team, we've seen them 3 times this year, this feels like a group that likes each other. They like playing together. They are fans of each other, which you don't necessarily always see. You see the reaction from the sideline on the big hit right there.
You definitely get the family vibe as far as this team is concerned.
That's the end of the game.
And that's going to do it. Charlotte's season comes to an end with just the 1 win, but Tulane will host the American Conference Championship right here at Yulman Stadium on Friday night against North Texas on ABC. What a fantastic matchup for the American Conference. We all get to witness next Friday to kick off the championship weekend.
I think you got to give a big congratulations to John Sumrall and everything they've done at Tulane this season. Enough to win week in and week out. So it's impressive nonetheless, regardless. Sometimes it may not look that sexy.
Well, big thank you to our producer, Aaron Snyder-Storin, Johnny Hanna, our director, my partner, Darius Walker, all season. It has been a pleasure, sir. I'm Chucky Kemp. We thank you for joining us in New Orleans. Tulane, a 10-win season, a 4th straight American Conference Championship berth. They'll look to win it for the first time since 2022, next Friday against North Texas. This has been ESPN College Football, presented by Dr. Pepper.